Hey everybody, it's Sarah and I am back. Today I thought we could talk about worst case scenarios. All right, so when I say worst case scenarios, I don't mean like the actual worst case scenarios, but when bad things are happening, how some people, me, definitely, we really start to ruminate on what those future possibilities can be. And it's much more likely that we're going to focus on those negative possibilities than the positives. But before we get too in-depth in this topic, want to remind everybody, if you want more content like this, if you, are, I guess, enjoying these videos, click that subscribe button, like it, and if you really want to know when these videos are dropping, click that little notification bell as well. Also, just a reminder, and I've had a number of people make comments about this as well, we do have a GoFundMe to help support our family as I go through these ups and downs between good news, bad news, treatment, and all of those different things. So that link is down below if you are interested. And I very much appreciate anything anybody can do to support, though your comments and just you watching is plenty and very appreciated. So, worst case scenarios. So I've always been one of those people who will have conversations in my head. So if I've gotten into an argument with someone or I'm frustrated about something, I'll be in the shower and have the whole conversation in my head about what I wish I would have said or anything like that. So my imagination tends to kind of go wild in general, especially when it comes to some of those worst case scenario things. And when you have a chronic illness, and particularly one like cancer, that worst case scenario is that you're not around anymore. That's really scary. I'm bringing up this topic now since right now I've just, I recently had some good news with my scan and things are looking more positive. So it's a little easier to talk about and a little easier to think about because that worst case scenario doesn't seem as likely. And of course, these worst case scenarios change depending on what's going on. When I was first diagnosed and it was, just the mole in my neck and then the cancer was found in a few lymph nodes, there was still, that idea of, oh God, what if I die? But it didn't seem as likely because, even based on statistics at that point, the chances, weren't, or I guess I should say my chances of long-term survival were very good. And each time it's come back, even with the advancements in medicine and everything increasing the chances and the survivability rate, especially in melanoma patients, as soon as you hear that stage 4 diagnosis, things get real. And having a family, having, at the time before I even got the stage 4 diagnosis, when I was pregnant and cancer came back, the thoughts that went through my head of, will I get to know my daughter? Am I gonna leave her without a mother? Those are really, really hard things to think about, and it always it always caught me kind of in those quiet moments, when I was alone in a car driving and had nothing else to do but think, in the shower as I'm trying to go to sleep. Those wonderful times where it'll also then impact what my dreams and things like that. People are be positive and that I really, really work hard to be positive and to try and push these, negative and worst case scenario thoughts as far back as possible, because they're not productive. But they're also normal thoughts to have. And when you get a stage 4 diagnosis, it is an important topic to actually talk about with your spouse, in particular if you're married, or with your caregiver or whoever it is that is giving you that support. Because if things don't go in the positive direction, you have to be able to make those choices, and you have to be able to plan, like, what are you going to do, or what is going to happen if you get to a point where you can't verbalize what your choices would be. When I started with my palliative care team, one of the things that they sent me was a whole packet for an advance directive, where it walks you through all of the different scenarios of, like, if you find that you need to be on a feeding tube, but you can't verbalize your choice. Do you want to be on a feeding tube, or are you going to decline that? And having you make those choices ahead of time with a witness, and signing it and actually submitting it to your doctor, so that if that time comes, there's no questions. And you don't have to leave those decisions up to your loved ones who are suffering at that time to make such a critical and heart-wrenching decision, that you've already done that. I will be very honest, they gave me this packet and I have yet to be able to fill it out. I have opened it, I've read through it, I was in tears by the time I got to the end, but so far I've continued to put it off and said, I'm not there yet. I'm not so far gone. And at this point, things are looking better, and I'm hoping that that packet can stay empty. I still have it. And it's still available, and it probably would have been smart of me to fill it out when things weren't so good, but I didn't. And yeah, things are good right now, and I'm tearing up just thinking about these things, and that's normal, and it's okay, and I want anyone who's going through this, or if you're the partner, to know that it's okay, to have these thoughts, and it's perfectly normal to have these thoughts. And so now here's my moment. I said I was going to do it when I was kind of planning for this video, which was actually kind of verbalize what some of those worries were and are for me. The thought of not being around to see my kids grow up. The fear of going through, what you see in the movies of those last moments of a cancer patient in pain and not really, not living a happy existence. Of having to have my kids go through the loss of a parent, and what that means for them growing up, and the trauma and how that can impact them as they grow up. That's terrifying for me. What Josh is gonna do. That I would leave him. And again, it always goes back to like movies that you see and stuff like that, and how, you can tell a loved one, I want you to move on. I want you to be able to find love again and not be alone. And he and I have talked about that kind of stuff before, so, we have, and he's like, both he and I are socially awkward. We have, just those couple close friends. And in fact, our family is actually more of our friends than anything. He and I are each other's best friend. And so, we don't like go out and party or, do anything like that. So I've thought too, again, not in related to cancer, but man, again, those stupid what ifs, what if anything ever happened to Josh? What if I were the one who was left alone? And I can't imagine trying to go into the dating world or trying to meet someone new. I mean, he is the only person I've ever dated. He was my first boyfriend. He was my first kiss. So I never had to go through that. I've never had an ex. I've never experienced any of that. So if I were to ever have to try and do that again, I don't even know if I would want to be honest. And then to flip that around and worry about him. Now he'd had girlfriends and stuff before me, so he knows what he's doing, I'm sure. But again, it's that thought of, will he even want to? What my parents would go through. What my in-laws, what my sister and her family, and leaving all of them behind. Gosh, it rips my heart out thinking about the pain I would leave them with. And I'm not, I was raised Catholic, but I'm not really a religious person now. And I would love to believe that there's something out there beyond all of this, but I don't know. There's, the very the possibility that you die and that's it. There's nothing there. And I don't know if that is scarier than there being something else and being aware of how your loved ones are suffering, or maybe the joy that they're thriving, which we can all hope for. And I don't want to, start a debate about the afterlife and belief and all that. Everyone is, I encourage everyone to have their own beliefs and to embrace those and to be respectful of everyone else's. And staring, I guess, death in the face, a little dramatic, but it's definitely had me think about those things and realize that, there's that big what if. And I really don't know what I want to believe, and I'm very indecisive about that, which I know seems really silly that you should be able to kind of make that choice. But I've never really been able to do that. And maybe it's because I think if I don't, then it's all on the table. I know that's really silly. So there, I said I would do it. I knew I was going to cry throughout that whole thing. But I think it's also important to get that out. And I probably cried less and less hard, being that right now things are looking better and things are looking more positive. But again, it's stage 4. It's, my diagnosis has it spread throughout my skeletal system and into my brain. And if the medication stops working, or if treatment stops working, realistically, I'm probably not going to make it to a ripe old age of 90 years old. Probably not. That sooner or later, the cancer is probably more likely than not going to win. I don't know when that's going to be. That's really hard to say. I'm hoping, and I'm trying to stay as positive as possible, that that's going to be decades down the road. And there are tons of stories of people, and some of you have left comments about how, you know, you are a cancer survivor and you have fought for, you know, 30, 40 years and you're still going strong despite everything. And that's what I want for myself. I'd rather it not continue to come back over and over, and I'd rather not have to deal with all of those things. But I would rather that than not be around at all. So, yay. So that's kind of where I'm at. I hope I haven't upset too many people and you were actually able to watch through. I'm gonna wipe my eyes here. This is why I also don't wear makeup very often, especially, like, I never have been much of like a makeup wearing person, but you know, cancer's made me more emotional, and so mascara definitely is like a no-go when there's the possibility that I'm gonna cry. Yeah. So, while things are positive, you know, there can still be negatives, and while I am staying positive and things are looking awesome and I'm feeling really good right now. I really am. I figured now was the time to talk about this topic when things aren't seeming dire, because it's a little bit easier. Okay, there we go. I'm going to really try hard to get a video, at least one video out a week. So that is my hope, and I want to say my promise to you guys that I'm hoping to post a video every Sunday. And so be watching for those. We are going on vacation soon. In fact, in just a couple weeks, to Disneyland. We're doing a whole big family thing. We're going to be there for 9 days, which is amazing. I don't remember the last time we've really taken like an actual vacation. I think it was probably the last time we went to Disneyland, which was like 2 years ago. No, wait, no. 3 years ago? 3 years ago? 3 years ago. So this will be amazing, and we're really excited about it. You'll be seeing some like tips on like Disney trips that on if you're planning to go to Disney, as well as some travel things. One of the videos that I want to do as well is to kind of talk about what it's like to be a cancer patient and travel. And like some of the snags you can hit up on the way, some of the worries, and also some tips that I have found that will hopefully help in that whole process. So be watching out for those videos. I appreciate you all so very, very much for watching. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, notification bell, all those. And again, the link to our GoFundMe is in the description of the video. So I will see you guys later. Thank you, thank you, thank you.